What I didn't understand is that my brain had already taken in the fact that this thing is difficult.
So, yeah.
So by virtue of starting, I was already losing, but I didn't understand that I was losing. Because the fact that people all around kept on telling me that whatever you're doing is difficult. Whatever you're doing is difficult, right? I met friends, and the type of people that I surrounded myself with didn't look at the course from a perspective of we can do this. They actually looked at the course from the same perspective of the people that I kept on meeting that told me that it's difficult. So Libo, now we're adding pressure to that thing. So now the difficulty came in when I failed my first test. My first test, I think for actuarial science, I think I got 12. And for stats, I think I got like 8 out of 50, by the way. So 12 out of 50, 8 out of 50. So yeah, that's how I got to do actuarial science.
It is no doubt one of the difficult courses,
Yes.
And the work that goes into it and everything like that. And I'm sure even in your journey, when you are in it now and everything is starting to move, and also the university life and everything like that, there maybe challenges were there and then everything like that. Any challenges that you had in university?
Too many. But if I take you through my challenges, I have to take you through the fun stuff that I did as well, right? Challenges first year, immediately when I got into university. What I didn't understand is that my brain had already taken in the fact that this thing is difficult.
So, yeah.
So by virtue of starting, I was already losing, but I didn't understand that I was losing. Because the fact that people all around kept on telling me that whatever you're doing is difficult. Whatever you're doing is difficult, right? I met friends, and the type of people that I surrounded myself with didn't look at the course from a perspective of we can do this. They actually looked at the course from the same perspective of the people that I kept on meeting that told me that it's difficult. So Libo, now we're adding pressure to that thing. So now the difficulty came in when I failed my first test. My first test, I think for actuarial science, I think I got 12. And for stats, I think I got like 8 out of 50, by the way. So 12 out of 50, 8 out of 50.
Yeah.
Right? If I was surrounded by people that were looking at this from a perspective of actually we can overcome this, I think I would have been able to come back as well, because I'm an energy person. So I draw energy from the people that surround me. I got to understand that later. But at that time, I was drawing the energy from everybody who was surrounding me, and whoever was surrounding me didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So that means I was part of that darkness that they were in. And I never came back. So after failing, I kept on failing in chat. I failed until the last end of December. I failed. So I failed my first year stats. I failed my first year actuarial science.
Yeah. And so, it's a very difficult, because I was talking to these other students the other day, and and you start to see students now, because I remember talking to this other student, and I knew the student from like church things,
Sure.
And then now they came back to me, and they're even telling me that, hey, now I'm drinking, dude, cause it's moving, like I don't know what to do, I'm smoking, and all of those type of things. And these are things that happen, and sometimes we don't talk about these things. We said earlier on when we were before we started recording, that sometimes we talk about the achievement story, but we don't talk about the grumblings in the way and what people go through. But then the next thing you're rolling out in a Rolls Royce, and I'm like, yo, dude, Anna, people don't see the journey. They don't see, and also when you are hyper successful, you don't share the bad side of your journey. You sharing the good and be like, and everything like that. But in the real world, people get depressed, people lose hope, and they have other alternatives. Have you encountered some of those things?
Hey, dude, I've encountered a lot of things. And it's good now that we are covering this now, because when I'm a billionaire, I don't think I'll be able to speak about this stuff because I'll be having a lot to lose, you know. So it's good that we're covering this now. So I'm gonna give you all the juice. I'm gonna give you all the juice. So first year I can tell you now, I didn't date anyone first year. School was my life. So I spent my time in the library. I spent my time in my room, and literally I was watching series. I got addicted to series because I was failing so much. And now what I used to do is I would go to the library and get there and study 30 minutes and then watch series the entire time. Right? Because now I was chasing the feeling of feeling good that I was at the library than being productive. You get what I mean? So because now I'm in this hole now where I believe Lynn now difficult and fail. So I was part of those people. But at the same time, I needed to convince other people that I'm studying, so that when people ask, library, you know, and you can't make noise, you need to be quiet. That time Suits was still the it thing. I was watching Suits, you know, and there was no productivity. The kids are not so class maybe finishes around 3:30. I go to my place, I eat. After eating, I come back to the library. My roommate would watch me and so that used to give me comfort to hear people saying right? But I wasn't studying, I was watching series. So I wasn't dating, I wasn't doing anything. I was literally going to class, listening, coming back, going to library, watching my series, study for that amount of time that I study, come back home, and then sleep maybe 3-4 hours. I wake up, I'm tired the next day. Either if I'm really tired, the series the entire night, maybe I won't even attend class, and then I go back to the library and do the same process again, right? So there was no productivity. And then I as I said to you, I failed, right? After failing, I then said to myself, Mntwana, mara sizamile lento ukuthi siye library, siphaphe, senze ngathi siyafunda and asifunda, right? How about now we try something different, right? We try to study in our room, we try to ask questions in class, and then we actually study, right? Cool. Then I do that, Ben. Second year, funny enough, I actually had 13, if not 12 subjects. I'm not particularly sure, but I had nine. I think 9, if not 10 subjects, 9 or 10, right? I started to be productive in second year, so much so that I passed all of my subjects and I got a distinction in computational applied maths. So I even added computational. So I repeated stats, I repeated actuarial science, I did maths 2, and I did ecos 2, and I added computational and applied maths. So those subjects, you know, I get they break them down and then and all of that. So at some point, I think I had 9 subjects. But because now I was so serious and I understood where my problems were, I passed everything down.